Episode 539 of the TV Dudes, recorded May 15th, 2025. Poker Face Season 2 on Peacock. This week, Natasha Lyonne returns to our favorite 70s crime series, even though it said modern, Poker Face.
That's right, we may not get a new Benoit Blanc movie each year, but we're so glad to have more Poker Face. 4 episodes are out, and we cannot wait to talk about them.
But before we get to all that, I'm Les.
And I'm Nick.
And we're the TV Dudes. And I know this is the time we normally go into the Diaries, but actually, Nick, Poker Face is the only thing I watched this week. There's no Diaries.
Bullshit.
That's an amazing superpower, how you can do that. I am lying. I did watch some other stuff. To the Diaries!
The Diaries of the Television Dudes. Brought to you by only the finest cocaine wine.
Superpower, like me calling out a TV dude for not watching TV. I can tell that, like, no. You have definitely watched more TV. Although I did watch a lot of, I watched Knives Out and Glass Onion.
In prep for Poker Face?
And then a bunch of...
Season 1.
Season 1 of Poker Face, just to get that. Forgot how much I really like Rian. Rian Johnson is like a kind of book murder mystery, fucking.
He's a fucking nerd.
He
for
really
that
likes
genre
that
of fiction. Yeah, I like the cut of that guy's jib.
Which is funny because his are kind of like not lowbrow. I want to say
They're like a little bit piss takes
but
of the genre,
but they're not like everyone's kind of dumb. Like
I think it's the kind of satire you can do of a genre only if you really love it.
Yeah,
like you can't come in thinking, man, crime mysteries are stupid, I'm gonna make fun of them. Like no.
It's the lower decks of crime mysteries.
Yes.
Yeah. Honestly, if what's his name stops making Hercule Poirot movies, my vote would be Rian Johnson to take it over.
Oh yeah, I want Rian Johnson to take over Agatha Christie as a property. Fuck yeah, I'm down for that.
We did watch the latest episode of The Last of Us.
Indeed.
Which was, again, pretty solid, pretty good.
I love it. I love the Dina Ellie relationship. Like,
honestly, Dina was so badass in this episode that I was like, I mean, my God, she's really like the MVP of this.
I'm amazed it didn't read to me as fuck they're gonna kill Dina.
Right. Normally that's
because like normally on a show, like it's now what I think of. No one's gonna ever get this reference. It's now what I think of as the Sportsmaster problem, because there was a moment.
I was gonna say Battlestar.
Well, there's a moment in the Stargirl series where I was like, man, you're a B-plot character that they won't let go of. You just won't leave the fucking show, but I've never liked you. And then this episode, goddamn, they really brought you are gonna die. Oh, shit.
To me, it was...
And I mean, he dies, like, he literally is walking down a sidewalk while I'm thinking about that, and he turns a corner and dies. Like, it was the most, like, ooh.
Battlestar.
Yeah, you went out for cigarettes that one last time, Dad.
To me, it was, like, what, Battlestar and
yeah.
fucking Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Mm-hmm.
Like... But yeah, the Dina does get that arrow in her leg. That was like, oh, there it is. Okay, so she's got to have it.
Yeah, she's nerfed for the rest of
the reason she has to be, the reason she's so cool in this episode is because she's about to take a timeout.
Yeah, and you pointed it out. I'm very glad that they sideline her for an injury,
rather
not
than being
her
pregnancy. Yeah, like in the game. Although this is the one where Abby gets her first one of the Jacksonville crew. Like guys that murdered
Nora.
Yeah, Joel. And I like how she, like, it's the spores. Mm-hmm. They've introduced that in the game. So in the game, they were always there.
Right. We've discussed, like, because I've asked this every time I've talked to anybody new about the show of, like, so in the games, it's in spores too, but not in the show. Well, that seems just like a sanity-keeping decision for the showmakers.
Right.
But no, they're holding it back.
They're holding it back as an
That's
escalation.
Really smart.
It's pretty good. Like, they're holding it back for a big moment, and it was this moment where she chases him down the tunnel, and man, Nora thinks you dumbass, you've killed us both. Have I? Oh shit, you're her. Like, it's a great reveal of who Ellie is.
And Nora's one of the few people that would be like, you're the girl they stole off the, like.
Yeah. She's one of the only people on the fucking planet that knows.
Yeah.
And so that she puts it together and starts to explain what Joel did.
Don't you know? Yeah.
And I like that. And then Ellie's like, yeah, I know.
I know.
Because we haven't seen it in the flashback. This episode ends with a leading to a flashback.
Right. Talking about things that they've held back and doled out differently than in the game, I like holding back the way they did that Ellie knows.
Yeah.
Because, like, I thought she might, because we've seen a time jump, and there's clearly a rift between her and Joel.
Yeah.
And we don't know for certain, but you want to think it's probably but you don't. You just...
Right.
What's proof and what's not? What's her suspecting and what's confirmed? And no,
right.
It's been confirmed, and she's living with it.
No, she knows about Abby's dad or whatever, and like...
I know.
Yeah, I know. Like, yeah, I like the coldness of it. Like, you think this is going to make me rethink what I'm doing here? No, I've already done the math in my head, and I'm good with it.
Speaking of the coldness of it, there was a scene that we talked about first watching it, of like, why are they repeating this scene? And we realized real quickly, like, oh, there's a very solid story reason. And then when I looked it up, there was an even deeper game to show reason. So in this episode, Ellie picks up a guitar, and they almost repeat that scene.
Right.
You think they might.
Yeah, like the Take On Me scene. Yeah.
Goes just long enough that I was like, well, I know some fans that are gonna not enjoy like they were okay with it once for a story reason. They're not gonna do repeating it every episode.
Your friends on the MCU bleeding edge.
I don't think they're gonna enjoy this a second time around with a different song. But it only goes on for just a minute. Dina walks in, only instead of it being a like watery-eyed, this is the moment I fall in love with Ellie stops the song and like, you done with the map thing? We ready to go?
Yeah.
Like, fuck this romantic shit, on with the vengeance.
Right.
And it's there like this, we realized very quickly, like, oh, wait, that scene exists to show Ellie have that moment available to her and choose
vengeance over it. Yeah.
And like, no, it's tiny, it's very important. Then when I looked up, hey, was anybody else like thrown about like song scene? That song is also in the game, but I guess fans didn't think they were going to do it because they rolled the timeline back of the game, the show rather. The show is 10 years prior to when the game theoretically
which I keep forgetting.
It's just weird. I don't know why, but that song can exist in canon in the game, can't technically exist in the show.
Right.
And even in the game, it was an arguable,
even in the game, it was like, wait, that's a Pearl Jam song or something?
And it was like, okay, if Joel saw them live, he absolutely heard that song.
Okay, and like Joel seems like a Pearl Jam fan.
Right, sure. And and was living in a big enough city to see Pearl Jam.
I mean, I don't know how you would learn to play that song without actual like...
Right, I don't know. But it still feels like a shoehorned in choice. But people, I guess people just didn't think they'd do it. And the show creators were like, yeah, we don't fucking care. Because in the game, I guess that's the song one of the songs he teaches her, to play guitar on. And so it's cool that she starts that song. So a little bit of fan service. But then it's used for in-episode story reason. She chooses, puts the guitar down and let's go.
Right.
So I thought it was cool. It was a fun little, what are they doing here? Story mechanic wise. I thought it was really cool. I had a lot of fun with this episode. I'm enjoying this season.
She's got her own little Arya and the Hound thing going on with Joel, trying to impart a lesson onto her. And she just takes vengeance though.
Yeah. Which
leads me to be just watching a lot of Game of Thrones.
I also just watched the whole 8th season of Game of Thrones, in one afternoon. And so I watched Bella Ramsey stab a giant in the eye and then have her death.
Lady Mormont.
Right. But then have her death just made kind of cruelly pointless.
Out of when you see a bunch of Kid Kings on that, Joffrey and Robin of the Vale, you see a bunch of shitty, and even just the adults are shitty. To see Bella Ramsey as damn, what a cool 12-year-old.
Right. I was honestly mad that she's one of the ones they specifically show her open her eyes and be blue and zombie.
That sucks.
And I wanted someone to I can't remember who the dude is. Is it Jorah that she looks at in the street and is like, fuck you, I'm going to fight.
Yeah.
I'm a soldier. And when she turns around after the conversation, all the other soldiers are like, yeah, I'm out of your way. Go ahead, Sergeant. I would have liked somebody to step up and I got you. You know, know they're about to die themselves, but be like, I got you. Because a couple of times people say things like in Game of Thrones, like, okay, last person standing among us burns the other ones, right?
Yeah.
And you and I were discussing that you really should take it a step further. One of the things that you should be doing as your comrades fall is to stop your fight if possible and burn them. Like
Right.
now.
Even if you die burning 2 corpses, that's still
right.
You're still winning out.
You should jump in the fire yourself and take 3 out.
Yeah, right? Right?
And like nobody really seems to go through with that.
The battle tactics of that long night battle
Mm-hmm.
don't really add up and make sense.
No, and folks, if pretty soon we'll be able to talk about the reason that I just watched fucking crazy amount of Game of Thrones, and so did Nick. But yeah, here pretty soon we'll point you at a place where you can hear us absolutely take apart
Yeah.
the insanity of season 8 of Game
I
of
get
Thrones.
the Dothraki are no good in siege tactics. They should be out there on their horses. That makes sense. But
Right.
why are the Unsullied outside the gates? That feels fucked up. They can stab from up top.
Right.
Spears are pretty cool for that.
Right. Yeah, there's a lot of, oh my God, there's so much weirdness, but but soon we'll fix it all.
Also, maybe like just have no one on the. Like, you should be shooting fire arrows and throwing boiling fire down from walls and not engaging in melee combat until it's like a last resort.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So in the last few days, Nick and I have gone through a ton of Game of Thrones and like torn it apart and then put it back together and then brought it in front of a group and torn it apart again and brought it like.
Which is so weird for you because you've only watched select episodes of certain seasons, all of season 1, half of season 2, and then like
crazy
season 8.
recap, all of season 8, a couple of spot episodes in between, but not much.
But yeah, you get the general gist of it.
Yeah, I feel right now like I crammed for a final for a class I barely attended.
Mm.
Like I'm gonna do really well on this test, but if you ask me in a month what the quadratic equation is, I'm fucked. I won't know.
Yeah, a crazy a night just full of terrors, and which leads me to the studio and their night full of fucking absolute horrors.
Yeah, so
as they dose themselves with an unbelievable amount of mushrooms.
You've watched this episode at least twice now.
Yeah.
But the first time you watched it before me and were like, man, this is the first studio episode that really didn't hit for me. And I was like, oh man, this is going to suck. Because when you told me it was a drug trip episode, those almost always suck.
Mm-hmm.
Like I cannot express how disappointed I was at how much drugs were oversold to me by movies. Like hallucinogens were oversold to me by TV and movies. It sucks because like hallucinogens are fantastic. They're just not like they are in movies. Like and I can't believe that the studio. I sure can. Seth Rogen knows what's fucking up, man. This was a wildly accurate movie of adults doing hallucinogens at a party where everybody knows you're partying, but maybe doesn't know what you've done, and you're on something that kind of makes you slightly paranoid about it.
Mm-hmm.
Like the first time I ever did acid, I got taken to a party of people I didn't know, like while I was tripping. So I'm in an apartment and I had a Nalgene water bottle that I decided was like my fucking grail. Like if I had it, I was safe. And I also drinking an insane amount of water. And I didn't know anybody there. And everybody obviously wanted my amazing safety water bottle. And so I was told later what I did throughout the evening, kind of like the 30 seconds Zoe Kravitz thing.
Mm-hmm.
I would sit down on the couch with my water bottle, get paranoid, go somewhere random in a stranger's apartment, hide the water bottle, go back to the couch, fucking cool. 25, 30 seconds later, deeply concerned where my water bottle is, go and get the water bottle, return to the couch. I did this like 8 times before someone came over and said, the fuck are you doing? So like, watching them walk around that hotel and it was like, or the casino and shit, and like, oh man, this is why you really should plan. Like, this is why I don't do hallucinogens at a fucking party and or like go out in public on them. Like, this is why you're supposed to plan this shit, guys. And just watching them try to be cool, I laughed ridiculously hard at a couple of times in this. Like, not even their best jokes. Like, not by no means the funniest joke anybody's written on the studio. Just watching this episode going, oh, I'm so sorry, guys. I've been there. Like,
Yeah,
I feel for you guys so much.
I liked it better on the second view. I'm still not a huge fan of it. I just didn't connect with it. I was not in a good mood the first time watching it. But the second time was definitely like, okay, I can appreciate, especially Zoe Kravitz being shoved in the fucking thing for 30 seconds. Someone forgets their phone and goes in there as she's gonna ride out this thing, and she's like, oh, thank God you're back. Okay, so the first hour.
And I'm already thinking, you can't leave her alone in that room. Like, quit leaving her alone. Like, she's not safe, man.
Oh my God, you were like, the first hour was really scary. But then the second hour, like, and then there was like a 3-4 hour period where I was lost in the woods. But then I realized that I am the woods, and we are the woods, and it's gonna be okay, and I'm fine. So it's been 30 seconds. Oh my God, no, don't leave me.
So I was just in that room, and Zoe Kravitz is crawling around on the carpet talking to an invisible baby. Matt, what the fuck is going on?
What's going on?
And then, of course, we got Bryan Cranston in that episode, just going absolutely nuts. Like, how old do you think I am? 65? That's the goal.
That's the goal. 82.
82.
Wow, you look great.
Yeah. And of course, I'm assuming this is the penultimate, and like it's a to be continued, and they've seemed like they've got this set up for either their greatest year ever or they get sold to Amazon and they all lose their jobs. And so it feels like a very season finale thing. I'm pretty sure Catherine O'Hara destroying Bryan Cranston is going to be the way that they
destroy the Amazon deal.
And maybe I'm only saying that because of Silicon Valley. That feels like a very Silicon Valley thing of like, we've ruined our company enough to save our jobs. Are we going to pick? No, you're not going to want to cash that check for a couple of weeks, dude. Just, but you're still employed. Am I? So yeah, I'm eager to see where they go with it. I think part of the issue with this week's, because I really enjoyed this week's episode. It's not their funniest. No. It just isn't. There's nothing quite approaching to me the throw in the burrito and hitting the golf cart. And that's, yeah, there's just prior moments that were better. But there's a lot of little background shit. We finally got everybody on screen again for an episode. There's lots of moments of like the information getting slowly doled out about the dosage of those mushrooms. And like, I think Quinn's like one of the last people to find out. And she finds out with like one entirely in her mouth and another one unwrapped. And it's like her third. So like she's taken as much as Kravitz with some ketamine. Or
I think it dulls it.
Her like wiping the sweat off Matt and then tasting it. And then like, why did I do that?
Oh my God.
But also I feel like part of that is that this is getting back to like a plot. Like they feel like we've got to close out the season with some kind of real things that happen to these people that aren't just jokes. And so I feel like the sudden focus of like, oh yeah, what's happening with the studio really? This isn't just an ongoing, we live to fight another day. Like we're closing this out like a season. Kind of feels like, hey guys, we got homework to do. There's like real work to do. Like I feel like I'm being shook out of the joke series for just a moment of like, and we're going to close it up for real, guys. Come on. And that takes a little of the fun out of this episode. Yeah. That feeling of Cranston rolling in and like, oh yeah, real plots here.
Yeah, I wonder how it wraps up and exactly what lessons will be learned. Probably nothing. I don't think this is the type of show that like. I think they're going to leave it up open-ended, so hopefully they can do another season.
I am
because Matt seems like Matt's only real story can end with he should be a producer again.
Right. He really doesn't like doing this. No one enjoys doing this job.
He really doesn't like being head of the studio.
No, and I am I'm stunned and a little sad that we didn't get to see how this happened. That Kool-Aid seems to genuinely be considered possibly like a Barbie. And like, that's just not the choices we saw made.
No.
And so like, I kind of want to know how that's like, I know we weren't going to derail the show to actually deal with the AI bullshit, like fallout of them saying that. Because their only solution there is to just like, are bad.
Yeah.
Here's a donation to a writer's fund, or whatever, animator's fund. But, you know, so I get not derailing the show to go deal with that. But I when they said that, I was like, how is y'all slate suddenly in a good spot. Like, it seems like you guys
Well, I think that's the
are
idea.
on fire.
The idea behind the studio is that it's just chaos behind it. But even then, it's like, no, this is a banner year for them.
Right. Like, that it still works.
Like, things behind the scenes are always like. I like the idea that if your studio's failing or if it's succeeding, the behind the scenes look exactly the same.
Right.
And it's a fucking trash fire.
Right. It's just always when everybody's like, "Is this our biggest year?"
It is? Okay.
And Matt's like, "Yeah."
Because like I think on the ground, I don't think you can tell.
No, I don't think you can. I think it always looks like a shit show.
Because that's all box office stuff, and that happens way after you're done with production.
And like
stuff.
deep down, really the only thing Quinn cares about is like a movie that's not even like she has her own thing greenlit later. Like all the rest of this is just I don't want to lose my job, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But like these aren't hers. The couple of times that because she's also fucked up, that she just screams at like "Shut up, you giant business baby," or whatever the fuck she calls him, and then stops and like I am so sorry. I took that's such a big microdose somehow. Yeah, it really was.
It's 2 ace. It's 2 ace of like a. It's just
2/8 of a gram. That's not even a thing.
That's not a thing. It's
No,
2
man, it's-
ounces.
So that's 7 grams each. So you took 3. So that's
It's 21 grams. Dave Franco just fucking.
Oh man.
Woo! You did 21 grams of mushrooms.
I don't think you'll be fine. I don't think you're gonna be hurt. You
got brain
probably
damage.
not be brain
You
damage.
might be brain damage. I heard that. I'm like, no, you did not. Yes, I
Why
did.
would you say
Oh.
that to her? Yeah. No, I got a kick out of this episode. I'm ready to see how the season wraps up. And I continue to be really surprised every episode by some tiny little technical thing.
Yeah.
Either blocking timing or something. There's a girl in the hallway that blows smoke at a perfect moment for dialogue, and it's not paused and looked at or anything.
Right.
It just happens in the like. That's not one take. You guys set that hallway scene up several times. Damn. Like, okay.
I always wonder how much they're hiding those oneers in the swipe shots that they
Right.
swipe from one character and swipe to the other.
Right, because
Like,
there's
it's a
got to be some
blur.
cheats. Because that's just crazy. Yeah. But every episode it does something technical that I'm like, oh.
Oh, but since we were watching Game of Thrones, did you get in the mood for like fucking backstabby politics? Because I saw you watch The Conclave.
Yes. So it just the marketing campaign for that movie was amazing. I can't believe that they killed a real pope. But I had not watched Conclave. All of those actors are fucking powerhouse. I had heard about it in a very, very good adult movie is in the theater.
Sure.
But I didn't really know anybody who'd seen it. And my mom watched it and was like, yeah, Conclave was actually really cool. You should watch it. Like it's all like quiet manipulation power. But like done by Stanley Tucci and Rafe Fiennes and Fiennes, whatever, and Lithgow and like these are all just fucking great actors. I was like, all right. It is really cool. I was really amazed. Like from the opening scenes, you even before you really know who these guys are, you can see the like jockeying for power and like how immediately all these machinations go into effect as soon as that dude's dead. Like all of these cardinals have had their plan for what's going to happen when the old man dies.
They're all ready to go.
Yeah, and it's when you start looking at it like, okay, this is whether you're in it or not, whatever you do believe is somehow impacted by its difference from the Catholic Church. Like that's how big and long-standing this crazy thing is. Plus, they're just the largest landowner, I think, on the planet. So, like my mom and I were like, even if it were just like you and a bunch of cousins and siblings, and your dad died and held just this much real estate, faith notwithstanding,
it would still
be this political.
Yeah.
And then adding into it the layer of corrupt or not or whatever to varying degrees. All of these guys do in some regard believe. And that's weird. Like that comes out in weird ways. In like their weird trust of the system sometimes, and yet also jockeying for all this power.
Right.
But also it has an ending that somehow was not spoiled for me, and I won't spoil here, that makes me honestly think no one saw this movie in the theater.
Because no one told you about it. Like, no, someone would have told me about this fucking ending.
Like no one picketed this. Like no one like my jaw fell open. I can't I can't believe it wasn't fucking spoiled for me. I was amazed. amazed.
Wow.
Had a lot of fun with it.
That's good stuff.
Yeah. Definitely my favorite Oscar season movie I've watched in forever.
Sure. Beats the hell out of the King's Speech.
Right? Yeah, I really enjoyed it. Let's see, what else?
Well, I mean, we did watch a little bit of Dying for Sex, but I think we were talking about doing a whole episode on that.
Yeah, so
maybe we should
here in a
leave
couple
that.
of weeks we've got a spot in our schedule. I think we'll leave that. That's how good Dying for Sex was. So
It
tune
is-
in for that.
Greatly enjoying that.
Really amazed.
I mean, we did go see Clown in a Cornfield.
We did.
Which-
We were talking. We went to see it in theory for a Patreon, but sometimes you come out of the theater and are like, sometimes we come out of the theater and we're like, flat didn't like that movie. Don't want to talk about it in a Patreon. This wasn't that. It's just
I don't think we'd have much interesting to say. Because honestly, we did a Patreon on Craven. And like,
right. No. Like,
There's
I
actually-
either need this movie to suck
there's not enough wrong with this movie in order to do it.
worse
Yeah.
or less.
Because it's made by the
More or
Tucker,
less, yeah.
Tucker and Dale versus Evil Guy.
Which does set a high bar.
So there's moments of the movie that are quite brilliant, like
Right.
quite fun stuff.
Right.
There's
About every time that I would be going, I can't believe that I wish a movie called Clown in a Cornfield were more deeply
there's
written.
a fun romantic twist with the male lead that really that sells. That's fun.
Right, that I've seen partly done in,
Yeah,
in a few
but
other
they
things
go for-
recently,
they
but they
really go
just
for
do
it.
it, and I was like, wanted to applaud.
Oh.
I laughed out loud a bunch of times. Other people in the theater, there's a lot of really fun little fucking squeaky shoe clown print moments and
Right.
shit. There's a moment where they're hiding in the cornfield from the clown,
Mm-hmm.
and it's two girls, and the first girl says, like, I think he's gonna find, and the second girl covers her, like reaches around and covers her mouth,
Yeah.
and then she like whimpers a cry,
Mm-hmm.
and like the clown hand comes around, like I think it's
Yeah.
three girls. It's
Yeah.
like 1, 2, 3.
Three, yeah, the rule of three. Like,
There's a lot of just dumb, wonderful shit in it, but also I know it's called Clown in a Cornfield, and I feel stupid saying that it needs to have more plot, but it does. It's so
well, the problem is that it has a kind of a weird plot in it, but it just doesn't do a good job of explaining it
Right.
up until the end.
and,
So they leave a lot of for an exposition heavy speech at the end.
yeah, and you know along the way how much of it is there's not even enough given for the Mr. X to be Mr. X. You just don't know what's really going on other than
Right.
clowns.
Yeah.
Which again, every time I'd start to get annoyed by it, something really clowny would happen, and I'd be like, "All right, you
Yeah.
you know,
That's
you
what I'm out. You think
you
you
put
bring me
another
back
coin in the machine. We got 20 more minutes here, guys. Let's go." But yeah, we got home. We're like, nah, not gonna Patreon that. We'll just talk about it on the Diaries.
I think it's worth watching. And definitely
It
fun.
is
I
worth
wouldn't be mad at it watching in the theater either.
No, I was happy to go support original horror in the theater.
Yeah.
It is that fun. It's the guy that made Tucker and Dale versus Evil. I was
Mhm.
hoping it would just knock it out of the park, and it doesn't quite.
All right. Well, unless you got anything else to add, I think feels a good time to mention that if you joined us over on patreon.com/tvdudes, you can throw down a book an episode and get bonus content each week. This week, we're telling you all about The Invisible Raptor.
That's right. Our long-promised geek out about our new favorite film is here.
Yes.
And you can check it out over on patreon.com/tvdudes.
Absolutely. But first, let's talk about Poker Face over on Peacock as it returns for season 2.
Indeed.
I got this saying, I can tell when someone's lying. It's kind of a thing I do. So, who are you?
I am Felicity Price.
Nope. Try again.
I am.
Both.
Who even are you? You're one of my favorites.
Maybe. I'm figuring out how to finally start enjoying this journey, you know?
So Poker Face is an American crime comedy drama television series created by Rian Johnson. You know, the guy that ruined Star Wars, apparently. For the streaming service Peacock, stylized as a case of the week murder mystery series. It stars Natasha Lyonne as Charlie Cale, a casino worker on the run who entangles herself in several mystery deaths of strangers along the way. Although that last part of it is
It's
now
no longer true.
no
really.
longer.
Yeah.
The premise of the show no longer quiet. They announced this series in 2021 with Lyonne attached and Johnson as director. Nora Zuckerman and Lila Zuckerman were named as co-showrunners. They sisters?
No idea. Feels like it.
Sounds good. Kind of cool. That'd be a cool sisterly power thing.
Indeed. Sisters
was
in a writing duo.
Wait, sisters in writing. I like that. That's pretty cool. This debuted in 2023, so it has been a minute since we've had any new Poker Face. It did receive critical acclaim, and seemed like it pretty liked it, a la the season 2.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, this season.
So we had 3 come back. There's a 4th out now, so they're going back to it is 1 a week, other than dropping those 3.
And
you always wonder why they pick 2 episodes, 3 episodes, 1 episode. What makes them drop multiple episodes at the start? In Poker Face's case for season 2, it's what you were just talking about. They have to close out that, or they don't have to, but they close out the season 1 premise at episode 3.
Right.
Beatrix. So at the end of season 1, Ron Perlman's dead, and now she's on the run
from
Rhea
Perlman,
which is
it's
great.
Goddamn Perlman's.
Damn, it's always Perlman's. And so you think that that's going to be okay. Well, then that's how we're going to do season 2. We're just going to replace the big bad, and we're just going to do the same thing again. But damn, if they don't wrap that up, man. She shows up at the end of episode 2.
Yeah.
And episode 3 fucking wraps that up, which is great because it makes her big bad into just a case of the week and folds it in, and we're done. But then you and I were at the end of that 3rd episode going,
yeah,
okay, Charlie, she's never really picked a home or settled anywhere. She was rolling from place to place, shaking down poker games when Ron Perlman found her.
Yeah.
And then he made her settle down there.
Right.
And kept her under his thumb. And then she went on the run a while, but she was on the lam the whole time. Where is home? What is and like, her sister fucking hates her.
Yeah, her sister does not like her.
So we were kind of like, how do you get her back to what we know the premise of the show is? She's rambling and she's, walking the earth like Kane from Kung Fu.
Yeah, absolutely.
And how do you get her back to that in a way? And I'm kind of digging how they did it. They wrap that up at the end of 3, and she's, given the keys to the kingdom. Like, hey, you're free. Do whatever.
Yeah. And so she, picks a spot on the map and or looks like she's gonna. The next episode, she has to chickens out of it and has to call in her good buddy.
Yeah.
On the radio. I'm hoping that's a recurring character.
I am too, and I feel like we're probably going to build to a discovery of who Good Buddy is. Because that's just some rando on a CB, supposedly.
Right. That also has watched Out of the Blue, apparently.
Right.
Always good to see a fellow Hopperhead.
Though her power should still work.
Yeah, I think she can do it she's done it over the phone before,
She's done it on tapes.
Yeah. But, so yeah, it's interesting to see. That's an interesting progression as far as it makes me feel like this. Okay, Poker Face is not going to go on indefinitely.
No, but I like
she's
the
gonna
idea
try and
that
find a spot to
settle down. But I like the idea that there's a couple of things going on. We have a character that is getting healthier and yet still keeping the premise of the show. Too often, the premise of the show you're watching is tied to the damage of the character.
Yeah,
and if they were to get healthy, they'd stop.
I think this
doing
one
the show.
You could argue that the best thing for her to do would be to be an on the roll detective that has a website, and you can hire Charlie Cale
tracker.
Yeah.
He's got a base of operations that goes out and looks for or can be contacted, looks for rewards or whatever, and then gets in touch with him and hey, where are you at? Well, I'm in Colorado, and cool. When can you get to Seattle? And I think that'd be her best bet, and that's kind of what her sister tells her at the end of season 1 is hey, I'll grudgingly admit you're doing good out there. You're clearly a good force in some people's lives, not ours, but some people's. And so, I want to see her out there walking the earth and helping people. And I think she's kind of warming to it as well. But I love that really what's keeping her going right now is the fact that she can't not pick at shit. Because she, in episode 4, she has to leave. In episodes 1 and 2, why do I keep leaving? She gets a straight up offer at the end of episode 1 to just stay.
Right. What am I really running from?
But then she gets shot at.
Yeah. That's right.
That's right. but at the end of episode 3, she picks her place. At the end of episode 4, she shouldn't have to leave, except that you should leave.
Yeah, you probably should leave.
You should probably leave. Not even from a legal danger or just no. I think everybody here is good at
well, I mean, it's Florida.
It's Florida.
So maybe you should just leave.
Maybe you should
general
just leave.
Principle.
Yeah. for your own safety. And I kind of like the idea that at least for a little while, Charlie's just the kind of person that just shouldn't, like, she and any given place are going to come to a mutual understanding after a certain amount of time. And she should roll.
Man, she's going from flings from place to place trying to find her like forever relationship, but it's a place.
Right. It's
Yeah.
exactly what it is. Like, there's a whole bunch of one night stands.
Honestly, you know where she could do her thing and not have to move around? I mean, it would not be as good of a show or interesting, but she could just go to Vegas.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like be tempted to use her powers for poker games or whatever, but
Right. She just, it'd be like a gambling, like, so you're a gambling addict? No, not exactly.
But yeah, I so the first 3 episodes follow the pretty simple, same structure as far as in regards to Charlie getting wrapped up, at least the first 2 episodes, I should say. Because
I was tempted to think that they were sillier. I think just because that it was sillier this season because of there being 4 or 5. There's like Cynthia A through E Revo. The way that there's like Michael A and B Jordan in centers. Like, if you're gonna go for it, fucking make like fucking have 5 of them. Jesus, 4 of them, whatever. And but then we went back and watched a bunch of season 1 episodes, and you pointed out that, like, no, a lot of these people's plans are slick, but also they come apart just because she won't quit.
Right, they're slick enough.
It's this assumption that people don't, like, cops won't do this work, and nobody will, like, if you hand people an explanation, that they'll stop.
Well, if we want to go run through the episodes just one by one, the first one is a great example of, so it's a child actress that is like is going to get cut out of her will, and they're going to give they're actually a part of what they think is a quadruplets, but actually ends up being quintuplets.
Yes.
So it's a 6. Maybe there might be 6tuplets. So that's a sextuplet, right? No, sextuplet. No, it's sextuplet. No, sextuplet. No, sex. It's Latin for fucking.
I'm fucking with you, dude.
But
their show is Kid Cop Nights.
Kid Cop Nights.
And like, yeah, that's there's 4 of us. That's the only way that you can shoot a TV show with a child main actor.
Oh, we can do a 22 episode a year TV show
shot entirely at
night.
Like, oh my god! And then the main character that we're following, because they always open with somebody thinking they're committing a slick murder.
Yeah, and Amber is the one that Amber thinks she's getting on over because, like, oh, there's a mysterious 5th sibling and she's gonna get all the inheritance, right? And I think her name is like Felicity Price. And her plan is to act like her for the purposes of getting the inheritance, which you can just go, no, long term, like, wait a minute, no, that's not gonna work.
Yeah.
Like,
but also because she hatches this plan pretty quickly and does not do nearly enough research.
Oh no. Oh man, I like that she shows up dressed like her, and Cynthia Erivo does a great take on when she first sees, like, when Felicity first sees Amber, and when you see someone dressed up just like you, and she goes, what the fuck?
Yeah, this lawyer called me, the fuck is going on here?
And just gets the immediate, like, nope, no good vibes or whatever. Like, throws her off a cliff, right? And is like gonna stage her suicide, like even films the suicide video, only afterwards to realize that, hey, there's a leg on the fucking side of the cliff there.
Yeah, there's a false leg.
It's a false leg. And like, shit, Amber is, or Felicity is an amputee because of the car crash she fucking mentioned.
Yep.
And so, like, oh, fuck. Luckily, there's a passing train car. Like her plan is at one level like luck incarnate, and also still bad. Like,
yeah.
Like, and so her showing up as Felicity Price feels like, you know what, Natasha Lyonne, Charlie, you don't need her power here. They're gonna figure this out eventually. Come on, like, this is gonna fall apart. She doesn't need to be here, really.
Yeah.
Even the cops later, I think, even mentioned, like, we have different fingerprints. Yeah, You're siblings.
You're not fucking clones.
Oh.
Yeah. No, it reminded me of the moment in it's like later in Companion when the guys are rolling the repair guys are rolling one of the bots out and like so this guy definitely jailbroke this, right?
He's fucked.
Like, yeah, all your slickness is dumb.
But yeah, I like that. But Charlie also proves that Charlie is not actually that great of a detective because her special skill thing, and she can't leave stuff alone.
No, and at this point, she's not actually trying to be a detective. She just keeps like overhearing a thing and like.
But she can't tell.
Why are you lying about that?
She can't tell who's her friend and not. Like Delia, I think, is the one she knows from the orchard, and Amber decides.
Outside of actually catching a lie, she can't really tell. She's not really into this person.
Like how much do you know this friend of yours? Because you are being like it's not. She's already like obviously on the fly.
It is a very good turkey leg.
Oh my god, the prop to the props department for finding her the biggest fucking turkey leg.
Yeah, I don't know what Ren Fair they ran to get her that.
She just runs around with from scene to scene, and the fact that you can see her eating it, and yet it's never smaller.
No.
Never.
No, it's a fresh one every scene.
It's a fresh one every time.
She takes a fucking bite up. Yeah, she is gnawing on that thing. It's amazing.
It'd be like watching someone eat an ice cream cone from scene to scene, only it like never gets lower. Like
right. like how Bryan Cranston in the studio's got a 2-scoop ice cream cone. He's still covered in ice cream, and there's still 2 scoops on there.
But yeah, that plan gets thwarted because
thwarted assholes.
I don't like the terminology either.
Yeah, I don't like the way those 2 words fit together, but yeah.
But the Amber has to like sign the papers in order to get the other people to take their inheritance, so it's not tied up in legal shit, yada yada yada. Like, and suddenly Charlie basically prove it. I know you don't have an actual false leg or whatever, and suddenly she knocks on her wood and it's hollow, and like, oh my god, I am so sorry. Only for her to like get Charlie to get like a bad sense and like take their award for best intergenerational kiss. Yeah, we won it 6 times in a row. Yikes.
But yeah, it's just a fucking tall spike. But yeah, I like that it's just bothering her in that episode. Everything Cynthia Erivo, like everything that Hamber is saying is true.
Right.
But not for her.
Right.
So it's reading as a lie.
Because there's the executor of the will.
And she checks everything against that lawyer, and he's like, yeah, all of that's correct.
Who has basically like truth Tourette's. I like that he has an opposite thing.
Right.
Like he can't not like, I'm not good with social situations. She cut you out of the will.
But then so like it's just bothering her of like,
why is it true when he says it and a lie when you say it?
The leg can't be fake because it would and like drops that spike on her foot, and Erivo like,
yeah, oh my god,
and it doesn't seem to be bleeding that much until,
and only for the cops to come in and prove that like, oh yeah, we didn't need any of this.
No,
fingerprints
we would have got all this. Yeah,
it's fine.
Yeah, so that was Ep1,
and then Ep2 is Giancarlo Esposito.
Yes,
as a
and Katie Holmes.
Oh yeah, Katie Holmes too, as a funeral home directors.
And Sherry Cola.
Sherry Cola is the production designer or whatever. Too small a part for Sherry Cola.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
The that shows you where she is in her career. That she's a bit part on a poker face and not one of the murderers or victims.
The woman is she's amazing. She should.
She's so great. But yeah, his idea is like he hates this fucking movie production that's going on in this thing, fucking up his schedule. And Katie Holmes loves the romance of it and like wants to. She does makeup for corpses. So it's like, hey, the makeup department needs another person. I'm gonna run with this production crew, and I'm gonna go all the way to California. I'm gonna go to Los Angeles. And so he just decides like, no, you won't. And honestly, and his plan is a little slicker. He does the same scene as from the movie so that the bloodstain basically matches. And so that they're going to clean it, and then the production crew comes in and cleans it up later.
Yeah, just does it at the right time that they just come in and wrap it out.
Right.
Like It's honestly pretty. It's one of the slicker premeditated ones.
Right, and then he burns her ashes and spreads her ashes everywhere.
Remains. Nick.
Her remains, yeah. No, they're bone fragments that
Ground to the consistency
of ashes.
Okay,
man.
You fucking weirdo. Yeah. And then presses her into a song that we know she hates.
That's, man.
Him dancing to it's one of the like horror movie creepy to me. But I also love that she bitches at him the whole time of like this fucking haunted house.
Oh, that one's called Last Looks. That's pretty good.
That makes sense. And
the first one is the game is afoot.
Yes, I saw that. But when she like Katie Holmes complaining about like this fucking haunted house, there's a scene where Giancarlo Esposito is pointing out all the things in his office that are filled with cremains.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like every object in the house.
Oh yeah, my great uncle Larry is
in his
here
lamp,
with us.
and like my dad's
He's
in the
like,
paint of the painting, and like oh my god, dude.
You can put him in fireworks.
Oh god, yeah. Of course that comes.
Remember that for later.
That won't happen. Yeah.
And then so like yeah, her. I like the production guy she hooks up with, to get that gig, and. He comes with her on his lunch break to like, oh, okay, this seems interesting. I'll hang with you. And basically like, what is this woman doing here? I basically plan like, no one should be even investigating this crime yet.
Yeah.
Like if they ever investigate her,
like why won't you leave this alone? She keeps coming back. Yeah.
Yeah.
Every once in a while Charlie gets herself into real danger where I'm like, you're gonna get killed.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. No, because
like this dude's gonna murder you and get rid of the body.
Giancarlo basically almost gets it done.
Right.
As far as like gonna cremate her. I do like that. I don't know if that's how fucking crematoriums work, but like, hey, you can't have any lithium batteries in the fucking.
I mean, I know you're not supposed to, but I don't know if it blows.
I don't know if it blows it up, but like
holy shit. But yeah, that, and of course, you got flammable crap near it, and yeah. So like that one ends literally in flames and fireworks and shit. And then we roll on to from there she gets basically abducted by Rhea Perlman, right?
Man, that's Kevin Corrigan.
I know. I almost didn't recognize him. I had to look it up.
Man, he is wearing he's got a big shades and a hat. Like,
yeah. I love that dude. He's been hilarious since Grounded for Life, like all the way back. He's fucking always great.
So I liked those two. I think I liked the first one a little bit better, just because it was so zany.
Yeah.
The second one is definitely like Esposito is really selling it or whatever, but there's not as much. It's basically just her and Esposito episode going back and forth at each other.
Yeah.
But the third episode, I was like, I think my favorite of the season so far. Whack-a-mole.
It is super fun.
Because it really shakes up the plot of it.
Right.
And also like
it does my favorite thing, which is confidently rushing through plot.
Mm-hmm.
We wrap up Beatrix Haas.
It inverts the structure of the show.
Mm-hmm.
You first see what happens to Charlie, and then see the other thing. Like,
yes.
Because it's not a thing she's solving. She's fucking up an op.
Yes.
Like she's not really solving it. She's like she's fucking up a whole thing that she can't quite figure out. Like, oh, because the mole's not who you think it is. And her friend, the FBI agent, like calls her in the middle of it. And like, yeah, so there's this guy and he's a mole. Like, yes, I know that he's my mole. Fucking just, no, when you get there, go into the fucking airplane and ditch out and just stay in there and hide. Like, okay, that doesn't seem like very much of a plan. but yeah, she's there to like suss out the mole. I love that Rhea Perlman is like, okay, yeah, I think I have a rat in the organization, or a mole.
Well,
God
wait,
forbid.
no,
wait,
which
what's
is
the
it?
difference?
Is it a rat or a mole? Well, it could be a snitch. No.
Yeah, I think the distinction I had was that a rat is a mob guy that's flipped and informed on the FBI. A mole is an FBI informant.
Yes. Yeah.
Like
a mole is still in the organization and nobody knows that they're still operating.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So I like the John Mulaney is the mole Fed agent.
Well, and this episode brings back Luca, our guy from season 1,
Absolutely.
whose career she fucking made.
Dude, I love that guy.
He's great. And I love him and Mulaney both genuinely loving like show tunes and shit, like their weird bond, even though Mulaney's a piece of shit.
Well, then he brings on his informant, this actual his actual snitch is Richard Kind,
Mm-hmm.
because he's the stay-at-home husband of Rhea Perlman, and he's just like, he wants to go in.
Like, okay, but you need to get her too, because you know shockingly little about your wife's criminal organization. Well, and I find all that mafia stuff boring. Okay, but for our purposes, it's how you get witness protection.
Yeah, like,
Like, and so they have a whole twisty thing about blanks and squibs and betrayals and all of that. It's super fun.
Richard Kind does actually dying, even though later you realize, like, oh, he gets shot, and then later you realize, oh, they're gonna be blanks, and like,
Right.
oh, okay,
and then, like, oh, but it still went wrong.
but then it still went. And when I watched it the second time, I was like, wait, but there's blood in his mouth.
Yeah. No, there was something in the blood puddle that struck out to me of like, that's wrong. He's dead.
Yeah, something's wrong. Like, I think it was the blood in the mouth for me. I'm like, yeah, but Squibs, unless he has a packet in his mouth,
No,
that's not how it works.
And then, but even blanks, like Rhea Perlman then shoots when she throws that gun at him is hilarious. But,
Sure, gun jams.
But she about shoots him point blank, and getting shot point blank with blanks can really fuck you up.
Yeah,
With,
I thought like, oh shit, he just got Brandon Lee.
Ask Brandon
like,
Lee.
Fucking.
Oh wait, you can't.
But no, he just takes one in the head and like glances off. I'm like, oh shit. And yeah, the Richard Kind is dead because Mulaney slipped in a real bullet among the blanks,
Which is great. Like
which is pretty good.
And so that episode wraps out her whole Beatrix Haas problem.
Right. And,
Done.
well, I like that Charlie eventually figures it out on the plane in a hostage situation because she's just trying to vie for like, and it's actually pretty complicated.
Right.
So she's like trying to really parse it together. Who's the mole? Like, there was
And
this
enough
guy.
people know about her power that they're careful.
There's this guy who's drinking milk. I thought that was weird. Like, this motherfucker's always complaining about his ulcer.
Right. Mulaney is drinking that milk the whole time. Yeah. Blah.
I will give you $16,000 to let me go right now. All right, 150,000. Like
Okay,
so you just started with.
you
16.
had 150, but you
wait a
started
minute.
at 16. Fucking dick. Yeah.
But that leads us to basically her being free of the hasps. Basically, Hasp goes into witness protection in exchange for taking off the hit, so she's good. And so the next episode is basically her in like I think they're still in Florida at that point, right? Or does she go to Florida?
I don't know if she goes to Florida or if they're still in. I think she goes to Florida,
Okay.
but I'm not sure.
But yeah, the latest episode honestly was again vied for one of my favorites as far as how silly the show is. Because this one is set in Florida, and so you gotta like, okay, so if the regular world of this universe is kind of silly, and people are a little bit not as slick as they think they are,
The Florida version
the
of this
Florida
world?
version of this world must be just unlike mouth breathers.
Right,
Like-
right. Like it's steal a gun from the pile at the airport level, Florida.
Oh my god.
and like it's Gabby Hoffman in one of my favorite roles I think I've ever seen her in. I believe she's the cop.
It's the only thing I remember her from specifically as far as roles go for her. And Kamal Nanjiani as this guy.
Gator Joe.
Gator
Dunn, man.
You have the right to shit your pants. And pick a line. Pick a fucking a line. Yeah, you can tell Kamal Nanjiani is.
You're just having a blast being ripped.
Yeah, he's having fun. Like he's adopted this gator. It's an award show that like they're awarding best panhandle.
Yep,
cop.
it's the Florida Panhandle Cop Award, the
Flopacopus. Yeah,
and so
where they serve Miranda bites as hors d'oeuvres.
anything you put in your mouth can will be
Used against you in a bathroom later. The band is playing Twist and Shout, only it's Stop and Frisk.
Right. And they're the YOLO. There's this take on Rollo Tomasi from LA Confidential. Like the band name is. It's like it's like the YOLO Tomasis or something.
Honestly, like that's the funniest. Like that's the most endearing the cops are, because otherwise, like, oh man, they're really having. Oh, it's because they have too much pride in being cops,
right? And like almost everything that that Rian Johnson has the cops do in this, it falls back to like a kind of joke.
Dude, they are Keystone cops.
Man, when they're in the hallway ready to kill that gator, and they're all like, "You're a loose cannon, you're a loose cannon, you're a loose cannon, you're a loose cannon." Like, Well, this is obviously under my jurisdiction. Nope, that gator crossed county lines to get here. That makes it FHP. Well, technically, he's animal control.
You stop that.
You shut up, Rusty.
Well, I think we can all agree this gator's got to die.
Let's taste it of human blood.
Guys, we got to get this gator out of here. No, man, it's tasted human blood. Why do people keep saying that?
When even the rescue group is like, no, but that gator's tasted human blood now. Like
no, Daisy's supposed to be called. I saw in her eyes, man.
I secured it with a twist tie from a bread bag. A what? I've never eaten bread.
What?
What?
Literally never once.
Yeah, this episode was so silly, and I laughed so much at so much of the cop shit, and all the gator crap, and just the for the first truth she tells that like, or that she hears where she's like, you're telling the truth. Like that catches her eye is Kamal Nanjiani trucking down the hall, and she's like, "Do you have a better dollar for this vending machine? I got a shit."
Thank you. Appreciate your candor.
Appreciate your candor there. Most adults are not that.
Over the age of what was it? 4
people just aren't honest
about that. The what's her name? The cop Fran is sick of him winning. Like I like that it cuts like, oh, he wins that first award because he adopted a gator from a meth dealer named Crazy Joe, or like forget whatever the fuck.
Yeah. Like so, like that's how it starts. Like he's got it in like a fucking Bjorn baby carrier in the you know.
6 years later, it jumps to, and like she is obviously lost her. Like she's like
I twitch when the Flopacopas come around, and her boss that first nominated her for it like 6 years ago is
I don't think this is healthy for you
anymore. For you. But also I love him telling the story earlier of like, you're one of the best cops I know. You're one of the good ones. I think you should win this because then I could finally send a Florida story to my cousin Larry up in Philly or wherever.
Florida man.
And he'll stop making fun of me for Florida man. He just keeps sending me Florida man shit.
Yeah.
And I love that at the end of this episode, she fully confesses what she's done because she's our murderer for this episode. And like fully confesses what she's done. And he's like, yeah,
no,
that's the most Florida man shit I've ever heard. There's no fucking way that I'm going to say that in a court for you. No,
I'm not going to say that. Also, it's going to be actually kind of hard to prove.
Like
to be fair, like they
do have the glasses there.
To be fair, his reasoning for not going behind it was actually more rational than most of the time. Like it's not even just straight up corruption. I mean, he does say like, but you're one of the good ones.
I still love that he still is like, no, I mean, I know you accidentally did kill that guy because you got mad that one time, but you're one of the good ones.
Honestly, he should still fire her, but I can understand why not going for going forward when the investigation is going to be
also that was a prank that went wrong. Truly.
Also, all we're going to get you on is manslaughter at the most.
The desecration of the corpse is as much a crime as
evidence tampering. Probably
right. That to say, like she did do all that.
Right.
I love.
Well, I like that it was a prank gone wrong. Most of the times they are malicious.
They are malicious. Yeah, she just really wanted him to shit himself.
Which is
on
why
stage. Given that his catchphrase is "You have the right to shit your pants," it was going to be hilarious. I cannot fault the
no. They were
logic.
like reptile. The reptile laxative was right there. She asked the person how much you give him. Like okay, and I like that she asked specifically how much is safe.
Right. She just looks at the napkin wrong.
She actually. She didn't just give him a bunch of trank like a normal person might.
Yeah.
She actually went to her animal control expert and asked how much was safe.
No, she thought like, well, I don't want him to die of shitting. I just want him to shit himself.
Yeah, and that'll be funny. And so I like that it was really a mistake. And yeah, it can be okay because she actually didn't do it with malicious intent, so the audience is fine with her getting away with it, basically.
Yeah.
But yeah, also I'm pretty sure that's. If I'm recognize my voices right, that's Steve Buscemi on the radio. I think it's Steve Buscemi as Good Buddy.
That'd be great. I'd be down for that because I think we're going to slowly find out who Good Buddy is, and I think it's going to tie into the show.
Well, he's like that weird wisdom, and it reminded me of where's that movie where he is just. Actually, it might be that season of The Sopranos where he's just laying down weird wisdom, But it was like forget what he said, but like, sometimes you just need a. New beginning, or we all have a highway. That's what it was. Like we all have a highway, and we got to go down.
He is. That is Steve Buscemi.
I knew it.
Good buddy.
He is my good buddy.
Yeah, I'm so glad this is back. If we don't get a Benoit Blanc movie every year, at least we got some Poker Face in between.
How many
to fill
episodes
in.
is it a season for Poker Face?
I'm afraid it's going to be like fucking 6 or
hope
something.
it's
No, it's 20. Well, so there's 22 so far.
What? That
That's
doesn't
what it
sound right.
says. No, but that's what the number is for IMDb. So what are we doing here? Saying this is going to be a 12 episode season.
No, okay, so it's all right. So last season was 10, and this will be
12.
12.
Looks
Okay,
like.
that's cool.
And it the last one of this season is called Into the Road.
Okay, so that makes me think that they're gonna end it in a way that maybe they'll get picked up for a season 3 if Rian Johnson wants to do it.
This episode was called The Taste of Human Blood.
Sure.
Then we got Hometown Hero, Sloppy Joseph, One Last Job,
Mhm.
3 that don't have titles yet, Day of the Iguana, which is a
Oh boy.
fucking Robert Mitchum movie, a reference there, and then Into the Road. Man, I'm so glad this is back. I had a blast watching these. Natasha Lyonne is just absolutely fucking awesome.
Mhm.
And yeah, Rian Johnson's just got some style. I had forgotten until starting the season back how good how subtle and low grade and fucking rad the little theme music is, and what a cool vibe
It
the
almost has
title
a-
card with the MMX blah blah blah. All like
It's so weird. The little stinger they do to that music
Uh-huh.
actually sounds like the Last of Us stinger they do.
A little bit.
It kind of freaks me out every time.
but it's just got a Rockford Files vibe. It's 70s in a very effortless way. Like
Sure.
it feels retro in a way that they're not working their nuts off to do, you know?
Right.
Like it doesn't feel try hard.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm so glad this is back. It's so good. And as soon as this is done, I will demand another Knives Out movie, please, immediately.
Sure. Let's see the further adventures of Daisy and the Meth Gator.
Right. Man, how many times have you seen a thing like that? Like every week.
It's Florida, so like
I'm Animal
every
Control
week.
in the Panhandle
Well,
of Florida, man.
Man, honestly, the investigation is so dumb. Like they have to like reason together. Like, look how neatly piled that meth stack is.
Right.
If a gator grabbed it, it would be all messy and clawed
Also,
up.
someone would see the gator. When she asked that kid, like, have you seen a gator come through here and steal meth? I don't know. No, I'm sorry, man. You
No,
don't know.
you don't know?
If a fully formed gator came and just plucked meth from this pile. You should at least be able to confidently tell me no.
No, that's not an unreasonable request. So they keep having to establish just like regular human things of like, yeah, but also it's a gator.
Right. Right. And I hate to make this the least plausible thing in this entire episode, but I don't think companies run vending machines, not the venue itself usually.
Yeah, they don't have stocked machines there to stack
So
it.
like there's usually not a box of Oreos you can get out of the mop closet.
Yeah, no, a guy comes in
Right.
to
You stole I'm going to say that you stole a janitor's stolen Oreos. That like a janitor paid a dude from Frito-Lay $10 for a box of Oreos to fall off the
for
truck.
like a pallet or
right.
something. Like,
And that's just been those have just been next to the bleach for ever how long. Yeah.
I don't know. Do Oreos go bad?
I don't think they
Think.
it's worth experimenting. Yeah.
Well, the world may never know. We eat them before.
Right. How there's a line in Ghost of Hetty. Who the ghost is, every time anybody dies, you didn't happen to die with cocaine in your pocket, did you? But she, at some point, like they find like an old side table that's got a secret drawer and it's got drugs from when the Wall Street dude was there alive. Like, oh, you found our secret drug stash. Is there cocaine in there? Does cocaine go bad? How would anyone ever know? And like, I love just the like, no one would ever, no cocaine would last long enough to find out.
No, yeah.
No. How would anyone ever find out?
How would everyone?
Yeah. There'd be no way to study it.
We just don't have the data.
We just don't have the data. There's never been a lab. Yeah. I've enjoyed the shit out of this. I think everybody should go watch Poker Face. If you don't love it already, I don't know how you put up with this. You can't possibly still be listening to this podcast, right?
No, I'm so in love with it.
Yeah. I think that's probably going to wrap it up for us this week. Tune in next week. I think we're going to check out Murderbot over on Apple TV.
Murderbot.
I believe it should be out. You said the 16th, I think it drops?
I think so.
So hopefully we got some Murderbot to watch. I believe it's a Skarsgård. It's always a Skarsgård.
It's always. think everyone's a
Speaking
Skarsgård.
of poker face, it's always a Skarsgård.
You think everyone's a Skarsgård? Because everyone is a Skarsgård.
Well, until then, Skarsgård's out.
Out.
No business like show business, huh?
I'm a professional. I lie for a living, and your gift is uncanny. I've never seen anything like it.
No one's fooled me yet.
I'm gonna be the first.
Sorry, but I think I might be foolproof.
Game on, Charlie Cale.
Barracuda.